team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Another day, another Larry Bird reaction video, man. Shout out to my Bird gang. Write something in the comments for me right now. Write some more videos that y'all want me to react to, because we like 6 for 6 on the Larry Bird video. We ain't missed yet. And I appreciate all of y'all, all the feedback y'all done gave me, man. It's been highly appreciated. It's been dope. But for this video, we got 5 times Larry Bird was injured but refused to quit. And I already reacted to the other video, 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history. I already reacted to that video. It's posted. Go check that one out if y'all haven't. I don't know how much different this one is gonna be. I hope it is different, but I asked for y'all suggestions though, and a lot of people was like, bro, you need to react to both of them. Like, both of them are really good. I think this one got, obviously got one extra time. I don't know what's that extra time they're gonna put in this one, but they said this one goes a little bit more in depth about different things. So I was like, I'm gonna react to it. So let's get into this video, man. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Let's get straight to it. We got 5 times Larry Bird was injured but refused to quit. Let's get it.
To his credit, he gets up and fights through it and goes out there and plays, but he is not a healthy person right now.
Damn.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
I think 4 or 5 years.
Where do y'all think he got that toughness from? I'm a Midwest kid myself. I'm from Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. If you know where Toledo, Ohio is at, make sure you write something in the comments. Shout out to the 419. But I think he was from Indiana area, which is the Midwest. So we some tough guys for sure. But Larry Bird, I think, was a little different. I don't know too much about his upbringing. They haven't really talked about that too much in none of these videos. But why do y'all think he was so he wanted to win so bad? Like, why do y'all think he was able to, say, forget all these injuries I got? Because he could have easily quit. I think they said year 6 was when his back was start messing up. He could have easily called it quits after, year 6 or 7 and was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. But it was something about Larry Bird that he was just like, bro, like what this title is, he refused to quit. Like, why did he refuse to quit? Did he have a crazy dad that taught him to never quit in something? Like, he was so tough.
Yeah, and it just, I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in a video. But this time, once again, we have to talk about Larry Legend, one of my favorite players of all time. And I think even the most casual NBA fan knows that Larry Bird in his career was a very tough player, and he overcame tremendous adversity as well as injuries. And I wanted to make a very quick video explaining how tough Larry Bird was and just some of the big time injuries he overcame. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at 5 times Larry Bird overcame injuries and absolutely dominated. So the first injury we're going to look at is when...
Speaking of dads too, my dad always told me, y'all see the way that Larry Bird was just falling in that video? It's like he was falling on that tailbone. And something that my dad always told me from a young age is that tailbone injury is one of the worst injuries by far you can have. So maybe this whole time, it really wasn't a back injury from Larry Bird. Maybe it was that tailbone. Because a couple of them falls looked like he was falling on that tailbone.
In 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA, and his injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here's Jackie McMullen explain this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team but his brother? So Larry's playing out in the outfield, and his brother hits this kind of spinning, looping ball, almost like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It's just spinning all over the place. And Larry tries to go down and make a basket catch, and his finger goes all the way back, and he's like, man, wow, it really hurts. And he looked down, and his finger was completely dislocated and mangled, and you know, he really was bothering him. He had to stop playing right away. And so now remember, he's been drafted by the Celtics during this point, but he has not signed a contract yet. So his finger is in a bad way. He has to have major surgery with clips put in and pins and everything else. And he never tells the Celtics this has happened. But, you know, sooner or later they get word, and they summon him to Boston. And the trainer examines him and says, and the team doctor examines him, and they say to Red Auerbach, this guy's damaged goods. Now,
oh, wow.
Red's like, really? So he says, come on, Larry, get dressed. So Larry puts on his stuff. Red throws him the ball. He goes out. He starts shooting from all over the floor. He's hitting from everywhere. Throws him a few bounce passes. Has him throws a few overhead passes, and he said, you look fine to me, kid. And Bird said, great. But Bird to this day will tell you, he's never had the same feel for the basketball.
So obviously a pretty bad
crazy.
finger injury that affected Bird for the rest of his life. And around 2010, Larry Bird gave an interview.
So y'all mean to tell me if he would have never had this dislocated finger, he would have been an even better shooter? Wow. Oh, let's read this real quick. The finger is shaped much like a boomerang, permanently bent toward his thumb at a 45-degree angle. 2 operations have failed to straighten it. He can bend it only halfway to his palm. I didn't have this in college, he says. That's crazy. So, like, it happened after he got drafted already. So that's kind of scary because, like, the Boston Celtics could have felt some type of way, but they said that he went out there with his coach and was still making every shot. So they was like, hey, I don't care nothing about that dislocated finger. Like, you look like you good to me.
And to this finger to this day is shaped like a boomerang at a 45-degree angle pointing toward his thumb. And he's had 2 surgeries that have failed to straighten it out. But I think the most intriguing thing in that clip is that Larry Bird himself said he never had the same feel for the basketball after this injury. And Bird, for his career already, was one of the best shooters of all time. He was the first player ever to win the 50-40-90 club, and he routinely shot over 90% from the line.
Crazy.
But with that being said, Bird actually could have been a better shooter than he was in the NBA if it wasn't for that devastating finger injury. Now, next up on the Bird injury list, we go to his back, one of the worst injuries a player could ever have. And this injury for Bird occurred in 1985 in the middle of his prime. And his doctor, as well as a few commentators, talking about how tough Bird was and how difficult it was for him to even play a basketball game.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at...
If you never played, like, sports at a high level, then you wouldn't understand how annoying it is to have to go through treatment. Like, I had a few ankle injuries and, you know, just different little minor injuries. Nothing serious. But those treatment days, like, you dreaded them because not only did you have to go to practice that day, but you had to come in early for treatment. You had to stay after practice for treatment. Like, you had to just do so much more than the healthy players. So I can only imagine what Larry Bird was going through, man. Like, that had to suck. Like, going through, you know, treatment every single day for years for his back.
At his mom's house, back in French Lick.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of the process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, wow.
As magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage.
How old was he between 88 and 92? What years was that?
The pain in a way that very few people can do.
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in the door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
So obviously that back injury was pretty devastating for Bird, and it kind of marked the end of his prime. But even with that being said, Bird in his last 7 seasons still put up tremendous stats, averaging 25.1 points per game, 9.3 boards, 7.0 assists on near 50-49.
Like the way they was just explaining his back. Like I can't remember exactly what they was just saying, but the words they were using, to explain the things he needed to do for his back sounded like something that somebody needed to do in order to walk again. Not put up 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Like that's not what you're supposed to be doing after, all them back injuries he got. Like he should be lucky to even be walking. And he came out there and was like, hey, I don't care. I'm still going to average 25, 9, and 7 with this back.
And he splits. Those stats right there from an offensive perspective are still some of the best stats of all time. And once again show Bird could handle pain like few athletes ever. And one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard comes from Larry Bird's former teammate, that being Robert Parrish. According to Parrish, Larry Bird never took painkillers, pills, or any shots in his entire career.
I don't believe
Bird
that.
simply toughed it out and showed mental toughness as well as physical toughness and played basketball at the highest level for 7 more years. Now also one thing Larry Bird was known for in his career was being mentally tough. And here's a quick story from Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness after being stuck down in an airport for 10 straight hours.
Back then when we flew commercial, we didn't fly private, we played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel and to the arena if I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting on the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired. And, and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple of the few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized him. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
And that story from Kevin McHale, for the most part, is pretty...
So you mean to tell me that a snowstorm is the reason why Larry Bird just gave me 40? I'd be mad as hell.
comical, but I think it still shows Larry Bird had extreme mental toughness. And when it came to playing basketball, he would give it his best every single night. And I actually went back to Larry Bird's game charts, and I found this game from 1986 on April 13th. In this game, Boston beat New Jersey by 28 points. Larry Bird had 26, 4, and 3 on 64% shooting, and he didn't miss a single three-pointer or a single free throw. And what makes it even more impressive to me is this game versus New Jersey was the last game of the season. Bird could have easily packed it in and waited for the playoffs, but still, he wanted to play this game for his teammates as well as his coaches. And that year in '86, Larry Bird didn't miss a single game, playing all 82. And if you compare that mindset from Bird to the modern day players, it's simply night and day. I pretty much guarantee you, any modern day superstar will 100% sit out that game and rest for the playoffs, but not Larry Bird. And when talking about Larry Bird in his prime, 1980 to 86, really before his big time injuries, he played 561 out of 574 games. He played all 82 games 3 times and over 36 minutes per game every single year. In 2 years, he actually led the NBA in minutes per game. So back in the day, Larry Bird, if he could walk, he was 100% suiting up and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where he simply could not play was in 1989. This year, Larry Bird had severe bone spurs, he had what many people thought was a broken foot, and he had double Achilles surgery.
What is a bone spur? I could look it up right now, but I just want y'all to answer that for me. What is a severe bone spur? It sounds awful, but I can't even think of what that could mean, a bone spur. Write down in the comments what that is.
And back in the day, an Achilles injury could possibly be the end of your career. But once again, not for Larry Bird. As the following year, he had a very great and underrated season, averaging 24.3 points per game, 9.5 boards, 7.5 assists, while playing 75 games at 39.3 minutes per game, while leading the NBA in free throw percentage.
Always floated around that 10 rebounds.
Larry Bird once again came back to all-star form, and he overcame double Achilles surgery. Now, the last Bird injury we have is in 1991, and this injury is also the last great Larry Bird moment in the 91 playoffs versus the Indiana Pacers. And to kind of set the stage, in this series, Boston, they were heavily favored, but in games 1 through 4, Bird was not playing up to par, only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on 37% shooting, and 11% from 3. And back in the day in the first round, it was a best-of-5 series. So Game 5 was a winner-take-all game. And near halftime of this game, Larry Bird would go down with a severe head injury, possibly a broken cheekbone, as well as a mild concussion.
Right here, the swipe, knocks it free, Bird on the floor, and left hand keeps it alive, but he's...
So I see that play a lot, and now I get it. I didn't know that it was Game 5, which in today's world, that's a Game 7. It's an elimination game, tied 2-2. I didn't know that this was it. So he like, I gotta get up. I gotta get up. He hit his face so hard. Oh my God, bro. He hit his face so hard. Cover your face, Larry. Cover your face.
But in typical Larry Bird fashion, he would tough it out and come back in the middle of the third quarter.
And here comes Larry Bird.
Ain't no way he ain't coming back.
But certainly this, out of the pages of Willis Reed in Game 5 of the championship series involving the Knicks and the Lakers in 69-70.
And in this Game 5 in the Boston Garden, from that moment on, Larry Bird would dominate the remaining 18 minutes of that game, having 17 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists, on 60% shooting, leading Boston to a 3-point win. And that Game 5 versus Indy is the last great Larry Bird moment as he overcame injury and dominated in that second half.
And they won.
So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How tough do you think Larry Bird was? Is he the greatest trash talker of all time? And where do you rank him on your all-time list? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.
That commentary, he did a great job. He was talking a little fast, but I think he did a super good job. But Larry Bird, man. Larry Bird, he's top 5 in pretty much every category you can think of. But the one thing I finally starting to pick up, I mean, we've been talking about it throughout the videos, but I haven't really, it hasn't really registered with me. He averaged almost 10 rebounds for his career. He probably did average 10 rebounds for his career. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's not normal for a forward. He's not a center. He was a small forward. So the fact that he averaged 10 rebounds, I think kind of even shows more how tough he was. So I hope y'all enjoyed that video, man. That was one of my favorite ones so far. That was a really good one. It just kind of just showed his toughness more. Like, I feel like I've seen enough of his skill. I've seen enough of his passing. I've seen enough of, how good he was. But I think just going more into how tough he was and his mindset, I think the next step for me is to kind of just dive deeper into that. So if y'all got any more, videos about, anything about Larry Bird, put it in the comments right now. I'll try to react to him. Like I said, I'll be reacting to these videos all the way through the show. The show comes out in March, and I'm definitely gonna be reacting to all these during that time. So make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, so y'all can stay along with this journey with me. Make sure y'all like this video if y'all like this video, and write whatever y'all want in the comments. We out.